Okay, welcome back. I don't know what happened, but that video ended and I am just refusing to redo the whole thing. So I'm going to pick up where I left off in the last video. If you're watching this one first, pause it, go to part 1 first, please. Okay, so before I lost power here, we were identifying this function as a positive even function. So I can now go graph my zeros. I have a 0 at -3, I have a 0 at -1, and I have a 0 at +4. Okay, from my in behavior, I know that it's positive even. So even, they're going to go the same way. Positive means it's going to positive infinity. So I know that this graph, positive even, is going to go up and up. Okay, they have to go the same direction. Now, let's figure out what's happening with the rest of the graph. At -3, we're going to cross through the x-axis. So we're going to go through the x-axis. And then at -1, we're going to bounce off of -1. So I do need to spin around, bring it back, and bounce off of this one and go back down. And then I'm going to cross through the y-axis somewhere. You can figure that out by plugging in 0 for all of these x's. So when I do that, that gives me 3 times 1 times -4, which is -12. So this is going to cross all the way down at -12. So all the way down here, it's going to come back up and cross through this graph because it has a multiplicity of 1 at 4. So it looks crazy. Mine doesn't go to 12, it only goes to like 10, but that's okay. So it's going to go down here, come back, go down here. Now, if you want to be very precise with this point here at -2, you can plug -2 into the function and figure out where it actually drops to, because I don't know if this is the relative minimum or the absolute minimum, but I just know that I needed to turn around and come back. So it doesn't have to be perfect, but it looks something like this. It's kind of gross. I'm going to do another problem, and this time I'm going to factor it so I can help you remember how to factor one more time. And I'm going to pick one that's a little weird. So I think in your homework you have a trinomial that you have to factor out an x, so I picked one that's similar to that. So in this example, we're going to use f of x equals x to the 4th minus x squared plus x. So we're going to do the same method here, but before we can get to the finding the zeros and graphing, we have to factor the zeros out. So we're going to factor out a common factor because this last term has an x on it. So we have 0 equals, and then we're going to pull that x out. That leaves 3 x's here, x cubed, -x plus 1. Okay? Now that I have that, I can factor out this trinomial. So I'm going to find two numbers that multiply to be 1. Well, I need them to add to give me a -1, so this isn't going to work. Instead, I need to use quadratic formula, and you can always use the quadratic formula, where a is 1, b is -1, and c is 1. Okay, so I'm going to set this up. We have 1 squared minus 4 times 1. A is 1, c is 1, 2 over 1. Okay, just 1 second. Okay, so I went ahead and finished this problem. It's 1 plus or minus the square root of 3 over 2. You could plug this in, 1 plus the square root of 3 over 2 in your calculator and get a decimal, and then 1 minus the square root of 3 over 2 to get a decimal. And that'll help you finish factoring, and then you can graph from there. I didn't realize that we were going to get complex solutions for this problem. Well, not complex, but decimals. And they all have a multiplicity of 1, so I'm going to go ahead and do another problem, but if you wanted to finish this one, you could. Okay, I found the problem that I wanted to do. So it's f of x equals negative x to the fourth plus x cubed plus 2x squared. So the same first step here, we're going to factor out this x squared because we want this to be just a constant. So we're going to take it out a negative also because it's leading here, and we're going to take out an x squared. So 0 equals negative x squared. That leaves positive x squared. We're going to change this positive sign to a negative because we're going to take out a negative 1. So this is a negative x, and it's only 1x now because it used to be 3 and I took out 2. And then same thing with this plus sign, it becomes a negative, and there's your 2. Okay, good, this is factorable. So that gives me negative x squared. We're going to keep this guy, just bring him along with us, and we're going to factor this one. So anything that multiplies to be 2 is 2 and 1. And then we want them to subtract to be 1. So we're going to make our bigger number, or bigger factor, have the sign of this middle sign, which is a negative 2. Okay, that's better. So we're going to now set up our zeros. This is where we've started all the other problems in factored form. So once you've factored it, then it's the same steps over and over and over again. So we have zeros. I have a 0 at 0 with a multiplicity of 2, because that's the power. That means it's going to bounce at 0. I have a 0 at positive 2 with a multiplicity of 1. That means it's going to cross. And I have a 0 at negative 1 with a multiplicity of 1, which means it's going to cross there also. Okay, so I can plot those zeros on my graph at 0, at negative 1, and positive 2. Okay, and I need to look at the end behavior, so I need to add up my multiplicity. 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. Good, this is even. And it's negative. So even negatives, negative, even, they go the same direction, both pointing down. So I can draw that in already. There, there. Okay. Now this tells you where to start, right? Because at negative 1 we have to cross through the x-axis. So since we have to point down, that means we're going to start negative and cross through and become positive. Then we need to quickly turn around and bounce at 0. So we're going to quickly turn around and we're going to bounce and turn back around, and we're still going in the positive side of the y-axis here. And we're going to go to 2 and we're going to cross through 2, which helps us because we needed to end in the negative direction. So it looks like a little M. Okay. You should be able to do the problems on your homework. The last video is polynomial division, so I will do that in the next video.